It is Monday, March 10th, 2025. This is another off-season edition of Baseball Today. That is my man, Trevor Plouffe. I am Chris Rose, producer Dan, intern Sawyer along for the ride as well. Hope everybody had a happy, healthy, sporting weekend out there as we are inching to 2 weeks from tomorrow from opening day in Japan, 2 weeks from Thursday for opening day in the States. I, for one, cannot wait.
I can't wait either. Tuesday, it's going to be an early Tuesday morning for us. We're trying to watch that game, huh? Yeah, a week. Yeah, it is a week from tomorrow, not 2 weeks.
Tomorrow is.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
I think the teams are taking off shortly.
You're right.
To go over there to Japan. Yeah.
Oh my God!
I'm very excited, and I don't think you asked how I'm doing. I'm doing great. Had a great weekend. Couple birthday parties. I recorded some stuff with Jake, so I'm in the flow right now. I am so ready for baseball season. Usually I'm scared and I'm not ready, but not this year, bro. I think it's gonna be a career year for me.
Oh well, I expect nothing less.
Yeah,
it's a big arbitration year for you, so let's get it going. There is an announcement. Perhaps some of you have seen. We released the last Chris Rose rotation today, which you should check out. We get most of the band back together from the original group that we had our first year in 2021. It doesn't mean that the show is going away. We're just kind of changing iterations. We'll have a bigger announcement about that coming up very soon. And the newest episode will be coming out after the Japan series, but before things get going here in the States. So very excited about it. Little sad because, as I said, that formula is done, at least for now, but it was a great little run, and hopefully you got something out of it over the last several weeks.
It's a beautiful show. You do such a good job with these guys because a lot of times you'll see interviews with players and their guard is still up, but you have a way of disarming people, and I don't like it because sometimes you do it to me, but I like when you do it to other people.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate it. A lot of fun. We're going to start off with a tip of the cap to a man named Art Schallock. Passed away at 100 years old. He had been the oldest living major leaguer until his passing. He was actually brought up, probably most famous for being brought up and taking the roster spot of one Mickey Mantle in 1951 with the Yankees. Ended up winning 3 World Series, only pitched in one of those. I believe he pitched in fewer than 60 major league games, but still, what a life for this gentleman who ended up serving in World War II prior to all of his major league accomplishments and everything. Look at that beautiful smile. Tip of the cap to you, sir.
Tip of the cap. He's a California guy. Why is he holding the bat, though? I'm curious about that. Whose bat is that? That could be a very significant bat. That's kind of my thought process.
Great call. I
wonder whose that is. But he looks like a stud. Pinstripes still look good on you, Art. They really do.
I love it. And it's great when you see older gentlemen around the ballpark, like getting in uni. I know you had that with the Twins, didn't you?
Oh, my gosh. I mean, still to this day, Rod Carew and Tony Oliva are going down there. They're in the cage with guys in spring training. The Twins did that maybe better than anybody. The guys come back and want to be part of that organization and help out. I just saw Joe Mauer's down there in spring training. They put a fungo in his locker, and he sent me a picture. He goes, the bat's a little different nowadays. I said, don't they know you never rolled over a ground ball in your life? He has to be the worst fungo hitter of all time. Right?
Probably smashing line drives to left center field.
Yeah, okay, hey, if you wanted the ball to left field, Joe's your guy.
Yeah, pretty incredible player, right? There had never been a catcher in the American League to have won a batting title before him, and he won 3, I think. Insane.
Not to mention 3 Gold Gloves.
Yeah, pretty good ball player. Cooperstown. All right, we're still waiting word on Gerrit Cole, but there are several reports out there that it has been suggested that the Yankees ace needs Tommy John surgery. He is currently getting a second opinion. The Yankees came out. Brian Cashman said, listen, we're expecting the worst here. And so all signs are pointing toward this. Last year, his season was slowed because of an elbow. Didn't see him until midseason. Now they could have all of 2025 without him. If that's indeed the case, are the Yankees screwed?
I guess I'm not going to sugarcoat. I think it's bad for them. Because it's not only Gerrit Cole. Luis Gil is dealing with a lat injury. So you're talking about what was supposed to be the team's strength in that starting pitching has now become, I don't know, it's it doesn't stack up to some of the top rotations like it once did. I mean, I'm my thought process is, yeah, Gerrit Cole's going to miss the entire 2025 season, and that's crazy. Luis Hill should be back at some point, but they're expecting him to be out 3 months, and then you have to build yourself back up. I don't know if they're screwed. It's obviously not a great situation for Yankee fans. If this happened, this is weird because I think if it did happen like during the season, everyone would be much more in the dumps about it. But because we're still in spring training, I think there are some thought processes around the league that, hey, man, like there's still some guys available. Like, let's go get it before the season starts. The games haven't, your record doesn't mean anything yet. Like, go fix this. And maybe they will. I think maybe that's where, we can say it's not as dire because there are guys available out there. Obviously, you want Gerrit Cole. You mentioned he was out for part of the year last year. But if this is the reality, you have to face it head on. Like, what does that mean? Like, is Sandy in play? Like, is Jordan Montgomery in play? Is another pitcher on the Diamondback staff in play? Like, there are teams that are flush with pitching. I think Peter Bendick's down there in Miami. It sounds terrible, but I'm sure he's like very happy that this happened. Like, they're I believe like they want to trade him, and they could get a lot for him right now. I had some Marlins fans tell me, why would they trade him? Why can't he be part of the rebuild at the end? I'm like, I don't think that's how it works. Like, you have this guy, like he's probably going to get traded at some point, and now might be an opportune time. So if they don't do anything, I think they're in for it. If they do not do anything, let's say they go in-house and Will Warren takes Gerrit Cole starts and they wait for Luis Hill to come back, I think it's bad for them. I don't think they're going to win the AL East, and they'll be very lucky to get a playoff spot.
Okay, well, how big a move though do they have to? Do they have to go get a Sandy, or can they go get a middle tier guy? Can they go sign a Kyle Gibson? Can they go sign a Lance Lynn? Like, is that good enough for this organization?
There's a lot of guys out there of that ilk. You're talking Taijuan Walker or something like that. I don't think that those guys, love them. They've had great careers. I don't think that they make up for what Gerrit Cole means.
Let's just get out and here say the right answer. The answer is no. The answer is no. If the Yankees,
yeah, I mean, dude, that's not even a question.
Right. Well, it is a question because it is one of the ways that they can go. If they don't want to pony up prospects, they can go get a guy who's just going to cost them some bucks on the free agent market.
Why wouldn't you cough up prospects to go get Sandy, knowing what he's cost controlled? He's one of the best pitchers in baseball. I know he's coming off an arm injury, but like, this is something that happens to everybody. We see guys flourish after TJ. Like, I think he is like, go get this guy. Go get him.
To me, it's irresponsible if you don't, to be honest with you. I think the Yankees have to go do that. We're acting like the lineup isn't a question. Right? Because we all said, well, the starting pitching with the addition of Max Fried, look at the depth they've got. Nobody in the American League can contend with that. And I would say you're dead on. But if Gerrit Cole is erased from the equation, well, now all of a sudden Carlos Rodon, who's been great at times and not very good at other times in his Yankee career, well, all of a sudden the spotlight's back on you, bro. Like, Max Fried's going to be fine. He has been an outstanding Major League Baseball player. Has he had some injury issues? Yeah, but I expect him still to be able to give them, between 25 and 30 starts, and he's going to be awesome. Carlos Rodon, I don't know. Pretty good at times, but at other times, everybody's excited about Will Warren, and he's pitched great so far in spring. He came up last year for a cup of coffee and 5 starts, and it didn't look so good. I'm not going to judge him on that, but it's just we don't know. He could be a coin flip. Marcus Stroman, if you had told Yankee fans in November that part of your starting rotation at the beginning of the year would be Marcus Stroman and Will Warren, do you think they'd be excited?
I mean, they would know that something had happened, so probably not. I don't think
the answer is no. The answer
I don't think the
no.
in-house options are that bad as you're kind of making it out to be.
What I'm asking is, do you think that Yankee fans would be excited if you had told them 3 months ago that part of your opening day rotation would be Marcus
No.
and Will Warren?
No, again, because that means that one of those top 4 guys got hurt.
Exactly. The answer is no. So why don't we go fix it? If you're the Yankees, go fix it. You got to the World Series last year for the first time in 15 years. Awesome. And then you ended up not winning. So you got to go do something to win.
Do they? I mean, I think they do have enough prospect capital and
Yes.
maybe some major league ready guys to go get the job done. But who knows what Pete down there in Miami's asking for? We have no idea. Especially now when it's like, obviously they're desperate. Like that changes the leverage situation there.
And we haven't even talked about the most important part of the Yankees season, which is October. They're going to make it. Even if they don't do anything, the Yankees are making it to the playoffs.
Dude, are you serious?
Yes, I firmly believe that.
I would not say that definitively. That if they do not do anything, they're making the postseason for sure.
I think so.
I don't.
Okay, so take a trip down my journey and just say, okay they do.
Okay.
Gerrit Cole, a 2.77 playoff ERA and 133 innings with 156 strikeouts. There are times that he has literally saved the Yankees' playoff season.
Yeah.
So you're also removing that from the equation. Once again, game on the line. You want Carlos Rodon out there? Game 5, Game 7? Maybe.
It's a big deal they've lost Gerrit Cole. I think we've talked a lot about it, but that's the gist of it is, my gosh, like how do you replace him? I mean, obviously Sandy's there. I believe he's there for the taking. Maybe I'm misreading that entire situation down in Miami, but sure seems to me like he's there for the taking.
Yeah. Hey, real quickly, Giancarlo Stanton came out and said, listen, I'm going to have season-ending surgery on the elbows if they don't get any better. How big a play do they have to make in the market to go replace his back?
It's interesting because, I feel like they've dealt with a lot of Stanton injuries, so it hasn't been complete years for him. But when he played last year, he was really good. And then obviously in the postseason, he was a guy.
Yeah.
So that's what you're going to miss the most. How big of a play do they have to make for that? I mean, their lineup it's needy.
Yeah.
And I don't really know where you go. I don't really know where you go for that. I've tried to think like who could step in for them. Obviously there's guys available, but the Yankees have a lot of work to be done. And we are, like we just said at the top of the show, 2 weeks from opening day. And you know what? Yeah, it might bleed into the season as they're trying to fill these spots, but they can't wait too long, Chris. I am not on your side where like they're going to make the playoffs. Like I don't think so. Not with a depleted roster like they have now.
It's a good question to answer down there in the comments section. Listen, if you want to go free agent and you're just looking for a really good right-handed stick, JD Martinez, as long as you can pull him off the pickleball court, might be the right guy to go get. If you want to go make a trade, I don't know if Starling Marte is your flavor there in the Bronx. Yandy Diaz, I don't know. Tommy Pham eventually. Dude, would you love to see Tommy Pham in the Bronx?
I would. There's guys that I think every team should sign every single year, and it consists of Justin Turner, which he would have been a great fit for the Yankees, by the way. Justin Turner, JD Martinez, and David Robertson. Those are my guys. You sign them, they're gonna give you good baseball.
Okay, interesting.
2 of those guys are still available.
Once again, just to circle back, Gerrit Cole, as of the taping of the show, nothing is yet official. We'll certainly have more thoughts if and when it does become that way. As with every spring, bunch of injuries out there. More pitching. Grayson Rodriguez has been shut down by the Orioles for the next week. He's got an elbow issue that they're worried about. George Kirby out in Seattle. They did imaging of his shoulder. Nothing structurally wrong, but he's going to start the year on the injured list. Francisco Alvarez, fine young catcher for the New York Mets. He's done minimum, it sounds like, 6 to 8 weeks. He's having surgery today on a broken hamate bone in his receiving hand. So that's his left hand. Here's his skipper.
He's down, obviously, but it's not the first time. It sucks for him, but I'll see him once he gets back here, and we'll talk more. But he takes it personal. He takes it hard. He cares. But yeah, we'll do everything that we can in our power to stay positive with him and get him back on the field as soon as possible.
Which of those 3 injuries that I just mentioned are you keeping an eye on the most?
Well, it doesn't sound like the George Kirby thing is too serious. It looks like they're just going to rest him a little bit. So I'm not really worried about that. The Grayson Rodriguez stuff is interesting to me because, again, I feel like almost the same way as the Yankees. Like without him, you start to think about where they can go. Although I believe they kind of have have depth to sustain it, I think.
Mm.
To start off the year, I think they do. I like Albert Suarez in the 5 spot. He's done pretty dang well for them. I think I'm going with Francisco Alvarez in the Mets because, well, number one, I think Mets fans were really banking on him kind of improving offensively. I mean, he's a league average hitter, and for a catcher, that's great. But he also has come up with some big hits, throughout the years, and kind of, is one of the, rah-rah guys on that team. I think he's, a big presence there for them. And so to lose him is tough, but they've also dealt with other injuries. Like Manaya's already hurt. Montas is already hurt. So I think that's, yeah, you're shocked about that one. New York is dealing with it right now. Both the Yankees and the Mets are dealing with injuries. And I think the total number of injuries that the Mets are dealing with right now is what I'm looking at, because we're expecting this team went out and spent $800 million on Soto. Like, this is supposed to be, turn the corner. Let's improve on last season where we kind of snuck into the playoffs at 89 wins, made a run. Like, their trajectory is pointing upwards, and then all of a sudden you're dealing with injuries, and it kind of puts a damper on everything. So I would go with the Mets as who I'm following most closely right now.
I'm going to circle back to the Orioles. I talked about them last week on the show. I'm not worried about Grayson Rodriguez because it's only been 2 years, but he has not pitched more than 122 innings in a season yet. And he's had some health issues, right? He's had a shoulder. He's had, I think, some lat stuff that has gone on, and now we're working our way possibly to the elbow. And is he going to end up being one of these guys that injuries just consistently find? I hope it's not the worst thing here. I'm hoping that a week off will do some good, and, they'll be able to see him by May or June or whatever the timetable may be. You said that you felt like they had enough. I don't know. Eflin, Morton, Suarez, Sagano, and Povich. Rogers is hurt, and he wasn't any good last year. So he was so bad after the trade, they had to send him down. They don't have adequate depth, in my opinion. I've been barking up this tree for years how they needed to go get big-time free agents. I'm okay with the Charlie Morton signing, even though he's in his 40s. I'm perfectly fine with that. But it just feels like with a team that's got so much good young talent and should be rocket shipping at this point, that we still have too many questions, and Grayson Rodriguez is one of them.
Sugano's look really good in spring training. Dean Kremer, I think, is a decent back of the rotation option. And so, look, it's not a...
Hold on. Isn't Kramer healthy?
I believe he is.
Yeah, we'll check in on that one. That's my fault for not checking that.
No, I think he is. And again, I don't think it's necessarily like a top rotation in baseball, but it can be enough. I mean, I will say that, like the Mets, the Orioles are dealing with more than just one injury. I mean, Kittredge is out now. And that was going to be an equation, at the back end of games for them, maybe like a 7th inning guy. And now he's out. And then Gunnar Henderson is dealing with an intercostal strain, and that's going to put him on the shelf, and those things can linger, and they need him, obviously, to be like the guy there. And so these things start to pile up. You start to worry about these teams. So, yeah, I mean, that's definitely... It's not a great start to the year for the Yankees or the Orioles or the Mets.
Dean Kremer is healthy. He's pitched 8 innings so far this spring. Yeah. Has gotten knocked around a little bit, but I don't care about spring training numbers for the most part. Some people do. I'm not big on that. All right, are you ready to optimize your nutrition this year? Factor has chef-made gourmet meals that make eating, well, easy. They're dietitian approved, ready to heat and eat in just 2 minutes so you can fuel right and feel great no matter what life throws at you. Factor arrives fresh and fully prepared, perfect for any active, busy lifestyle. With 40 options across 8 dietary preferences on the menu each week, it's rather easy to pick meals tailored to suit your goals. Choose from preferences like Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, or even Keto. Factor can help you feel your best all day long with wholesome smoothies, breakfast, grab-and-go snacks, and more add-ons. Reach your goals this year with ingredients you can trust and convenience that simply can't be beat. Eat smart with Factor. Get started at factormeals.com/Factor Podcast. Use Factor Podcast, that's the code word, to get 50% off your first box plus free shipping. Once again, that is Factor Podcast at factormeals.com/Factor Podcast to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box, your tummy will say, yum, yum, yum. All right, there's a reason I'm wearing a Tampa Bay Rays hat. Haven't talked much about him this spring, but we will here because Evan Drellick, outstanding reporter for The Athletic, is back at it again. He says the commissioner, Rob Manfred, and several owners want Stu Sternberg to sell the Tampa Bay Rays. Of course, they've been working for decades, it feels like, on getting a new stadium, and that has not happened. This year, because of the natural disaster that we had down there in the Tampa-St. Pete area, are going to be forced to play at the Yankees spring training home all year. How big a deal is this story?
I don't know what to think about this. I feel like there's a couple owners that should be on the hot seat as well. Why is it just directed towards my guy Stu down there? I've always said this. There's no shortage of people that want to buy professional sports teams, not just baseball, like all around. Like these things will come up for sale and there's going to be buyers. And I think the league understands the more people willing to invest money into their franchises, the better off the whole of the league is. And I think that's kind of where we're going here. You know, the owners and the shared revenue is interesting. They don't like guys just taking money and not spending it, especially when, teams like the Yankees and the Dodgers, have to give money that they've put in, have to give that to teams that aren't really doing what they're doing. Now, I've always said I like the Rays and the way that they kind of go about the business, and it's good if there's one team that acts like that, but I feel like we're kind of starting to get more and more takers and not so much givers on that side. So to be honest with you, I don't have a great answer for this one, Series. I don't know how big of a deal this is. If this is just like a play to say, hey, here's a little bit of pressure put on you, and this is what we're thinking. Like if that's the deal, then it's not that big of a story. But if they're actually serious about like, hey, like we're going to vote and we're going to make sure that we get somebody that's willing to invest in, then yeah, it becomes. I don't understand why Florida teams aren't like. Why that isn't a destination for players to go. Why aren't these some of the best run franchises in baseball? There's a lot to like about Florida for players. It is a hotbed for amateur baseball. It should be like there should be fans everywhere. And you can say, oh, a lot of these people are transplants. Like, no, there's a lot of people that like grew up in Florida, and there's a lot of kids that play baseball in Florida. So we should have like real respected franchises down there. And we don't. It's shocking to me. So I'm curious to see what happens, man. I think Tampa deserves a stadium and an owner willing to invest in the team.
Yeah, I think first of all, with the rooting thing that you bring up, I think if the Yankees or the Red Sox have been in your family's blood for decades, that's who you end up rooting for. I just do. I mean, you could go rogue, I guess, if you're a little kid at 8 years old and be like, no, I want to root for the Rays. But
I don't know, man. I think now more than ever with social media and like YouTube, like kids are drawn to players, and I think that we just haven't had the players there. Evan Longoria has been the biggest star in Florida baseball. Like who else is there? Like a little bit of Stanton, a little bit of Yelich. I know that Rio Muto was there.
It could have been else? It could have been Jose Fernandez.
Okay. Agreed.
That's who that would have been, I think, if that was a guy that they could have.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think you have to have a position player, for being honest. I think those are the guys that resonate more with fans because they play every single day. But they haven't had the star power, and they really haven't had the success.
No, and how about this? I mean, the Marlins have twice won World Series, and then
they haven't had the longevity to keep people around.
They've in '98, the year after winning the World Series, they dismantled that team.
Yeah, it's
so how are you supposed to build off the success of that sort of stuff? But let's get back to the topic at hand. 17 years Stu Sternberg has been trying, and I'm going to throw quotes around, trying to build a new stadium, whether it's Tampa, St. Pete, Ybor City, I don't care where it is. It hasn't worked. Now, apparently, there's some stuff that he has to do by the end of this month in order to make this new proposal, $1.3 billion stadium proposal in St. Pete go through. So there's certain things, and it sounds like he's not going to do it. And then if he doesn't do it, that's where Major League, okay, Stu, enough. And part of the reason you asked, well, why are they picking on him? Because this is the one that is currently holding up the process of expansion. And what has Rob Manfred said he wants to do before his current term as commissioner at the end of this decade is up? He wants to make sure there's 2 more teams in baseball. You want to keep those expansion franchises out there so that, these new owners have to pay these exorbitant prices to become part of the fraternity. That's where you get all that new money that doesn't cost anything for Major League Baseball. It's just like, here we go. We're going to have new teams in Portland and Nashville. Now give us billions of dollars between the 2 teams and everybody will be happy. Well, they can't do that until they get all their stadium issues resolved. They believe they have the one out west with John Fisher. They feel like that's going to happen in Las Vegas. Well, right now, they don't know what's happening in Tampa. So he's holding up the rest of the party. That's why they're picking on him.
Yeah, they're taking about $60 million in shared revenue every single year for doing nothing. $60 million.
Yes.
So that's, I think a lot of owners are like, hey, man.
They're not alone in that category.
They're not alone in that. And there's a CBA, is up in 2026. So there's going to be some talks about maybe refining that process and what it means. And for everyone that thinks there's going to be a labor strike in 2026, there's not. It's just not going to happen. It's all posturing. Nobody wants this to go away. That's the bottom line. It's interesting. I don't agree with expansion. I don't know if we need 2 more teams. I'm like kind of like not in on that, but if that's what Manfred wants and he wants to do that before he walks out the door, then I understand what you're saying.
He wants to leave a parting gift for the owners. Here's an extra tens of millions of dollars for each of you. Congratulations. Because right now, the national television package, that one's in danger after the opt-out. So that's what he wants his legacy with the owners to be. Hey, guys, I just got you all this free money. So I understand why they're doing it. Now, we can have the discussion as to whether or not Stu Sternberg should be the only owner on the hot seat. That's a different discussion, I think, for another day.
I think I could name like 5 owners who should be on the hot seat.
Yeah, but they're never going to do it based strictly on not doing enough for your franchise, because those owners have apparently the same vote that, the rich owners do. The rich owners. Whatever the hell that means, Chris Rose. Susan Slusser of the San Francisco Chronicle just chatted with Dodgers pitcher and former Giant Blake Snell, who said, the Giants didn't even talk to me. It was surprising. I thought they really liked me. If that is indeed accurate, is that franchise malpractice on the Giants' part? What are you laughing at?
I'm just imagining that's like something you might have said back in the day about some ladies. Thought they really liked me. What happened? You got Michelle, though.
I've told you, I finished very, very strong. It was a struggle. It was a struggle getting to that point. I was not Trevor Plouffe back in my available days. It was
that was kind of mean of me. I'm sorry.
It was kind of mean on several fronts, but it was accurate, at least in my direction.
Yeah.
I
knew it was accurate.
I was not. Let's move on to the question at hand. Yes.
What was the question?
The question is, if Snell's comment is accurate, is it franchise malpractice by the Giants to have not even talked to a guy that was in their clubhouse last year?
I don't know about franchise malpractice. I feel like, they have talks with whoever's, the decision makers in the front office there, like, the powers that be, Buster Posey and the gang. Like, maybe they just feel like Snell priced himself out in the way he finished last year. I mean, he was incredible at the end of the year. I do believe you have to put some feelers out there. There is a quote that Snell had that said, I texted Bob Melvin and he didn't text me back. And I kind of got sad right there a little bit because, that's got to hurt. You get crickets from the guy that, you have a lot of respect for. But, I think there are times where managers kind of have to just let the process play out. I mean, Bob Melvin doesn't have necessarily really a say in who they sign there. So maybe he gets like a vote and they're like, okay, thanks for that vote. I don't know about franchise malpractice. They went out and got the guys they wanted. I think they were focused on getting Willy Adames. From all accounts, that was their number one priority, and they went out and got him. So it's a funny story. I think more than anything, it's funny to me. Like, Blake is fine. He got paid. I think he's in a much better situation. So I'm not like sad for him. It's more like funny. He's like, man, nobody Nobody wanted to talk to me. And he's a guy that, like, dude, he likes people talking to him.
So if the Giants had no intention of re-signing him, should they have at least told him that?
Told him that? No, I mean, that's not their job.
Okay, they don't need to.
No.
If you have a relationship with a guy, you don't have to end it always on the best terms. Like, do everything A++, right?
I don't think so. No.
Okay, then that's fine. I mean,
Yeah.
it's business, right? You don't like. Did Blake Snell have to tell the Giants that he was in talks with the Dodgers and other teams?
No,
because
no.
that's his business. Now, he said that he had a very good relationship with Logan Webb, and Logan Webb has said several times on the Chris Rose rotation that, yeah, I mean, I think about it. So maybe he didn't hear from the Giants decision makers, but he heard from their best pitcher. Hey, you want to stick around? You know, maybe we can go get some position players and make a run at this thing.
I'm still very curious how the season's going to go for the Giants this year. They're one of my teams that I just cannot put my finger on the pulse of what's going to happen.
Yeah, that's fair. I think that's really fair. Is it possible that because they were so interested in Corbin Burns that they were like, yeah, we want to go for that right-hander instead of Blake Snell, whom we know when he's at his peak, he is a Cy Young winner. But then there were several years that he just kind of disappeared.
It does seem to me like San Francisco like wants reliability and steadiness. Like, and I don't know why that's in my head. I just feel like that's what their organizational philosophy is. Although they did turn a reliever into a starter, so I don't know what I'm talking about. But I think what happened was they said, look, he priced himself out, and we're going to go a different direction. They just focused on that.
They want to hit an iron off the tee.
Oh, gosh. You know what? I used to be a big no iron off the tee guy. Like, don't be a wuss. But there are times where, man, like your shot shape doesn't match up with the hole, and you got to just kind of play it safe. That's smart golf. That's damn near 40-year-old Trev talking about golf, not 25-year-old.
I'll give you a quick little golf story.
Okay.
The legendary Jack Nicklaus. This is in I want to say the 60s. He was just kind of getting on tour, right? Arnold Palmer was the big guy, if you may recognize that name, one of the legendary golfers.
May recognize Arnold
I just
Palmer?
want to make sure that our younger audience.
Maybe they think he's just an iced tea lemonade.
Yeah, that's true. Hopefully they don't think that Jack Nicklaus was that actor that was
an actor.
Joker.
You know what's funny is like a Roy Rogers is a thing. He's like an actor. I don't know who that is.
Yeah, Roy Rogers.
Is he an actor?
Well, was.
Yeah. Okay, go on. Sorry.
Anyway, my dad had the opportunity to pick up Jack Nicklaus there was some tournament in Cleveland decades and decades and decades ago. And so he had the opportunity to walk with Nicklaus inside the ropes. And he goes, you know that saying, drive for show, putt for dough? And my dad's like, yeah, of course. He goes, that's bullshit. He goes, you don't think any one of those other guys back there would like to be where I am off the tee? Hell yes, they would. They just can't get here. So the guys that can't get here are the ones that say it. Keep that in mind. So the next time you want to hit an iron off the tee, hell no, let that dog eat.
I don't know, man. Well, he's a much better golfer than I am. Sometimes I'm terrified to hit my driver because I can really only draw the ball, and if I have to cut it, and it's like it's going to be in the trees.
That's our golf.
And then you take your iron and you hit a horrible shot with that too, and then you really feel bad.
What's your low score all time?
Low score? Ooh, I think I've played like Balboa and Encino, those courses over by your house. I've shot in the 70s there, but that's a very easy flat course. I think like a more like a regular difficulty rating, my low score is an 81.
That's what my low score was. And my golf career is over. Yeah,
I'm getting better.
Yeah, I'm sure you are. You're good
it's
athlete.
Tough.
I keep hearing from you. Lawrence Butler does get that long-term deal from the Athletics after all, 7 years, $65.5 million. First reported by our buddy Jeff Passan. This came right before the A's released their latest stadium renderings. By the way, if they do get that stadium looking that way, it's going to be nice. So does this make Lawrence Butler the face of the Las Vegas A's?
I guess he's going to be there. They're already wearing the Las Vegas patch in Sacramento, which I thought that was going to be your question. That's very fitting for our program. I think he's going to I love Lawrence Butler, man. I think that he kind of has a little bit of everything that you want in a guy that's going to represent you. I think he's got appeal to like the young kids. I think he's got the ability on the field. I think he's shown the ability to make adjustments at the big league level, which is huge. Because if you remember, he struggled mightily, got sent down to the minor leagues, made an adjustment, came back up, and has gone off. I know he works hard. I think that he fits what you want. So is he going to be the face? I mean, maybe, who knows, dude? Who knows who the A's have coming up? Some random guy. Like, is it going to be maybe Mason Miller's the face of the A's? But I think that they did a good job extending Butler. And, been reading comments on people who, on social media about this deal, and they're saying Butler took a discount. Dude, this is like pre-arb. It's a pre-arb deal. And it only takes away, I believe, a free agent year plus an option. So maybe 2 free agent years. He could be a free agent at 31. I love this deal for him. I don't know. I'm makes me happy that the A's were forced to spend money. How about that?
Yeah, they were. I mean,
literally forced.
He is everything you want in a ball player. Now, I need to see it for one more year because he's really had one great half a season. He came back up, and I think he hit 20 homers in 84 games after his recall, which is awesome. He can do a lot on the baseball diamond. And the answer to this question is yes. He is awesome. He is one of my favorite young players to talk to in this sport. He doesn't shy away from anything. The way he presents, I mean, we had him on the Rose rotation. I just fell in love with him that day. And then we saw him at the CAA house in Arizona, and you'll see some great content coming up with him. But he's hilarious, man.
Yeah.
Funny, while at the same time being grounded. He's confident, and he's exactly what the A's should be selling. I hate talking about the A's in a positive light because I don't like what they did to Oakland. But when it comes to kids and players on their team, I will speak positively. And so the answer is yes. And I feel great about his future. And if he is your centerpiece, and if he is your mouthpiece, more importantly, moving forward, then you're okay.
You never know what's going to happen. There could be another Matt Chapman coming up through the rankings, or a Matt Olson.
But I'll tell you, personality-wise, it's going to be tough to top what this kid brings to the table.
Agreed. I think was it Seattle? He was in the Futures game, and we hung out with him there. And my buddy Ollie, who's I don't know if it's his agent or is one of his agents, whatever it is, introduced us. And again, I agree with you. The personality is there, man. Confident, not like
awesome.
Too showboaty, but like can be if he needs to. Like he's got it.
Yep, he does. Before we get out of here, MLB, their social media channels, I will give them credit. They are trying. They're trying to do some good stuff, kind of showcase good players. They had a bunch of them talking about Sicilian pizza.
What's the difference between a corner piece and an edge piece?
I don't even like Sicilian-style pizza.
Square-cut deep dish is an abomination to pizza.
It don't matter because I'm eating sliced pizza in a circle.
1, pizza's round. 2, like if I'm going the Detroit style, I like the corner.
Corner?
A corner. You gotta go corner. You gotta get crust.
I'm taking that top corner. I want that big piece.
I like the crust with, the two-sided crust, not just the one side.
Okay, so there's a lot to digest, literally. Where do you stand on the Sicilian pizza topic?
Oh, I don't care. Like people are like, oh, it has to be round. Pizza does not have to be round, dude. Who cares? I've had all sorts of great pizza. I've had great deep dish pizza. I've had thin Neapolitan style pizza, New York pizza. My coach at Crespi. God, now I'm gonna forget the quote. I had a quote for you guys.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna forget it. I got to bring it back another day. Anyways, my thought process on pizza is this. If the crust is crispy, I'm in. I just can't have a soggy piece, okay? So, like, if that bottom is toasted and it's got a crunch, give me the middle piece, give me the end piece. I don't care. Don't be so picky with your pizza, people. Come on. Oh, this is his quote. He said, he'd always say this. He goes, the worst pizza I ever had was bitchin'. Meaning, there's no such thing as bad pizza.
I thought you were going to use the other pizza quote.
What's the other one?
I'm not gonna.
Okay, listen, guys, don't be so picky with your freaking pizza. Okay, it's delicious.
You nailed it. You and I can order from a pizza from the same place. I need it crispy on the edges.
Yeah.
Need it totally crispy.
Well, I order well done.
Yes.
I call a place well done.
Yeah. That's a great call. I haven't done that enough.
Oh, you got to.
And that's why I don't mind the Sicilian pizza, because the people who throw away crusts, you and I have to have a talk.
Crime.
Yeah, that should at least be a misdemeanor. That should be a food misdemeanor. Right?
Yeah. Do you know what I love though? Oh, pizza. I'm so hungry right now, dude. Give me some like pizza. I need some some peppers on the side, some spice.
We ordered pizza last night. We do it very rarely, but since Brady's home.
What'd you get?
It was fine. Mulberry.
Oh, mulberry's great.
Yeah. Here's what they do. They do cheese and pepperoni great. They do the classics. They play the hits great. If you venture out, like last night, we tried a chicken parm. Not great.
Oh, that's weird. That's weird to me.
No, but some places do weird pizza as well.
I'll give a shout out to a place if you're in the San Fernando Valley area in Agora. There's a place called Tudo's. We've ordered from them quite often. It started off as just a little food truck, like a pizza truck.
Mm-hmm.
And now they have a brick and mortar location. Excellent. Excellent pizza.
You can shout out your favorite pizzas down below, too.
Shout it out, your favorite pizza.
Please. All right, we're back at it again later this week. We cannot wait. I think I might go eat whatever's left over from the Rose Pizza excursion from last night. It's a bad
I'm going to have 4 scrambled eggs, some diced ham, jalapeno, and avocado.
What? Stop. What are you, Rocky? 4 eggs?
That's like light. I could do like 6 eggs. I love eggs.
Oh, my God.
Got to be rich to have eggs nowadays. I might need to get a loan from you. Sheesh.
Hit up some of your other rich friends for that stuff.
Okay.
Dealing with my own egg issues over here. All right. Shout out to our one-of-a-kind producer, Dan Rourke, our amazingly talented intern, Sawyer. That is the uber-talented Trevor Plouffe. Send him eggs. I am Chris Rose. We will see you Friday here on Baseball Today.